Hey everybody, it's Kayla and welcome to another book read. Today's video is going to be a book haul. And since I am new, very new to BookTube, I'm just going to do a book haul of the books on my TBR cards. So books I haven't read yet. They've all been purchased, I'd say like in the last 6 months or so. So this is just going to be a very big cumulative book haul so we can all be caught up on this channel on what books I am planning to read in the future. So let's get started. First up, we'll just get started with the rest of the Bridgerton series. I have all of the rest of the books. I've read the first 2, and I'm waiting on season 3 to be announced. So after season 2 comes out, season 3 is announced, I'll read the book. I'll read book 3, and then we're gonna just read each book before the series comes out so that I'm fresh and so that I can, pick up on the little differences that they do. All right, so the next book is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I don't know. I see a lot on BookTube and a lot on TikTok. What do they call that? I don't know. I forget. Book Talk. So I thought I'd pick it up. So, Mare Barrow's world is divided by blood, those with red and those with silver. Mare and her family are lowly reds, destined to serve the silver elite whose supernatural abilities make them nearly gods. Mare steals what she can to help her family survive, but a twist of fate leads her to the royal palace itself, where, in front of the king and all his nobles, she discovers an ability she didn't know she had, except her blood is red. To hide this impossibility, the king forces her into the role of a lost silver princess and betroths her to one of his own sons. As Mare is drawn further into the silver world, her actions put into motion a deadly and violent dance, pitting prince against prince and Mare against her own heart. From debut author Victoria Aveyard comes a lush, vivid fantasy where loyalty and desire can tear you apart, and the only certainty is betrayal. So it does sound really good. And I know I picked this up at a discount bookstore called Second and Charles. The next book is Beautiful Creatures by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. Actually, it was really just the cover art that got me. I did not know this was a major motion picture, so I'll have to check that out after I read it. Lena Duchans is unlike anyone the small southern town of Gatlin has ever seen, and she's struggling to conceal her power and a curse that has haunted her family for generations. But even within the overgrown gardens, murky swamps, and crumbling graveyards of the forgotten South, a secret cannot stay hidden forever. I don't even know that I read the plot of the story before I picked it up. It was just the beautiful cover art that got me. Then I have 2 little quick romance reads by J.C. Burton. Both of them are hockey related, so Melting the Ice and Taking a Shot. Hockey obsessed and book obsessed. It's nice to bring the 2 worlds together. We have The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I think again it was the cover art that got me. And I like to pick up trilogies so that the story continues if they're so good. And then I think everyone's reading it, but Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I really liked her writing, so I figured why not pick up the next book that she's written. Half fae, half human, Bryce Quinlan loves her life. Every night is a party, and Bryce is going to savor all the pleasures Lunatheon, also known as Crescent City, has to offer. But then a brutal murder shakes the very foundation of the city, and Bryce's world comes crashing down. 2 years later, Bryce still haunts the city's most notorious nightclubs, seeking only oblivion now, trying to put the past behind her. When the murderer attacks again and an infamous fallen angel, Hunt Athalar, is assigned to watch her every footstep, Bryce knows she can't forget any longer. As Bryce and Hunt fight to unravel the mystery, the threads they tug ripple through the underbelly of the city, across warring continents and down to the deepest levels of hell, where things that have been sleeping for millennia are beginning to stir. Oh, I think I need to put this on my TBR. Like, I need to bring it up and put it on there now. This actually sounds really good. I don't think I read the synopsis when I picked it up. I was just like, oh, it's Sarah J. Maas, and everyone's talking about it. It's gonna be good. So the next one, I know, haven't gotten there, is Shadow and Bone by Leah Bardugo. I actually started the Netflix show and then realized that it was a book. So then I stopped the Netflix show and picked up the book. So we'll see. I'm excited to start it. It just hasn't jumped into the top parts of my TBR yet. And then It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I really like Colleen Hoover's writing, so I thought I'd pick up another book. And then again, another one that I know everyone on BookTube has probably already read, but Mortal Instruments, City of Bones. I honestly didn't even know this book existed until I started watching BookTube. I used to only read more like young adult contemporary, and then things just kind of started falling in my lap. So I am now catching up on all the BookTube YA fantasy books. Another one, The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I picked this one up. I know it's kind of a bit of a book on BookTube and Book Talk. Like, some people are like, it's so great. Other people are like, meh. So I thought I'd pick it up and give it my own shot. I obviously haven't read it yet. I've put it in my TBR for 2 months and then kind of circled it out and just decided like to pull it out, and I will try again in the new year probably. Sisters of War by Lana Kortchik. Picked it up at Target, actually, and it sounded so good. Kiev, 1941. Watching the Red Army withdraw from Ukraine in the face of Hitler's relentless advance, sisters Natasha and Lisa Smirnova realize their lives are about to change forever. As the German army occupies their beloved city, the sisters are tested in a way they never thought possible. Lisa's fiancé, Alexei, is taken by the invading army, whilst Natasha falls in love with Mark, a Hungarian soldier enlisted against all his principles on the side of the Nazis. But as Natasha and Lisa fight to protect their friends they hold dear, they must face up to the dark horrors of war. Will they be strong enough to overcome the forces which threaten to tear their family apart? Sounds so good. Keeping on the same theme, I also picked up Lovely War by Julie Berry. I also picked this up at Mr. K's. That's another used bookstore in my area, which I frequent way too often, and the cashiers know me way too well now. And in fact, they are like, oh, hey, there's some things back there I know you're going to buy, so let me just show them to you. And I'm like, I buy them. In the perilous days of World Wars I and II, the gods held the fates and the hearts of 4 mortals in their hands. Hazel, James, Aubrey, and Colette, a classical pianist from London, a British would-be architect turned soldier, a Harlem-born ragtime genius in the U.S. Army, and a Belgian orphan with a gorgeous voice and a devastating past. Their story, as told by goddess Aphrodite, who must spin the tale of face judgment on Mount Olympus, is filled with hope and heartbreak, prejudice and passion, and reveals that, though war is a formidable force, it's no match for the transcendent power of love. Just sounded so good. And yet another one that everyone on BookTube and Book Talk has read, but Scythe by Neil Schusterman, probably the Schusterman, not man. I haven't even actually put this in my TBR like monthly part yet. I need to. It needs to. Not next month, because next month is gonna be Christmas books, but maybe January. We'll do this one and The Cruel Prince and Crescent City. We'll just knock them out. Then I picked up Fallen by Lauren Kate. I've actually tried to start the movie on Netflix a couple of times, and it just hasn't really spoken to me, so I thought I'd give the book a chance instead. More than likely it's going to be 20 times better. Then we picked up the Titanic Sisters and I can't see the author's name, so hold on, let's look inside. Patricia Falvey. Delia Sweeney has always been unlike her older sister, fair and delicate compared to tall, statuesque Nora, whose hair is as dark as Donegal turf. In other ways, too, the sisters are leagues apart. Nora is her mother's darling, favored at every turn and expected to marry into wealth. Delia, constantly slighted, finds a measure of happiness helping her da on the farm. The rest of the time, she reads about far-off places that seem sure to remain a fantasy, until the day a letter arrives from America. A distant relative has provided the means for Delia and Nora to go to New York. Delia will be a lowly maid in a modest household, while Nora will be a governess for a well-to-do family. In Queenstown, Cork, they board the Titanic, a majestic new ocean liner making its maiden voyage. Any hope Delia carried that she and her sister might become closer during the trip soon vanishes, for there are far greater perils to contend with as the ship makes its way across the Atlantic. In the wake of that fateful journey, Delia makes an impulsive choice and takes Nora's passage as governess. Her decision sparks an adventure that leads her from Fifth Avenue to Dallas, Texas, where oil fields bring unimagined riches to some, despair to others. Delia grows close to her vulnerable young charge and to the girl's father, but her deception will have repercussions impossible to foresee, even as it brings happiness within reach for the first time. I've always enjoyed books about the Titanic, and this one just seemed so good. A lot of deception. And then I picked up Jennifer Cruz' book, The Cinderella Deal. I like Jennifer Cruz books. They always have at least a pretty good plot mixed in with a little smut. So we'll see. Then I picked up The Fortunate Ones by Catherine Hoken. It's another Target book. Target has been coming through this year in the book department. And then I picked this one up at Mr. K's just the other day, Romantically Challenged by Marina Adair. And it just sounded so cute that I couldn't not. And I mean, who doesn't need just another adult romance book to get their minds going, right? Growing up the lone Asian in a community of wasps, Annie, not Amy, has always felt out of place. Her solution? Start a family of her own. Not easy when every man she's dated, including her ex-fiance, finds his person right after breaking up with Annie. Even worse than canceling the wedding 8 weeks beforehand, learning the other woman plans to walk down the aisle wearing her wedding gown. What? New plan. Find a fresh, man-free start. Too bad her exit strategy unexpectedly lands her working at a hospital in Rome, Rhode Island, rather than Rome, Italy, and sharing a cabin with a big, brooding, and annoyingly hot male roommate. Oh, see? So, then starting into the hardback books, The Light at the Bottom of the World by London Shaw. I just could not. The cover was so pretty. Like, how can you not pick up a book that's cover is this pretty? I don't even know what it's about. Let's find out together. I don't even know. We aren't untethered from existence. The universe still acknowledges us, wraps us in its glittering, expanding embrace. The moon still tugs away. The sun rises and sets as ever, sustaining us even now. They didn't abandon us down here. We abandoned ourselves. Oh! In the last days of the 21st century, sea creatures swim through the ruins of London. Trapped in the abyss, humankind wavers between fear and hope. Fear of what lurks in the depths around them, and hope that they might one day find a way back to the surface. When 16-year-old submersible racer Layla McQueen is chosen to participate in the city's prestigious annual marathon, she sees an opportunity to save her father, who has been arrested on false charges. The Prime Minister promises the champion whatever their heart desires, but the race takes an unexpected turn, forcing Layla to make an impossible choice. Now she must brave unfathomable. You just know when you get stuck on a word and now it's stuck. It's stuck. Now she must brave unfathomable. We're giving up. Waters and defy a corrupt government determined to keep its secrets, all the while dealing with a guarded, hot-headed companion she never asked for in the first place. If Layla fails to discover the truths at the heart of her world or falls prey to her own fears, she risks capture or worse, and her father will be lost forever. So the book actually sounds really good, but the cover, oh my goodness. He went in, or she, whoever designed this cover went in. It is gorgeous. All right. And I picked up Flame in the Mist, also at Mr. K's. Again, it was a cover by. It's so pretty. Then I picked up, this one was a long time ago, Royal Bastards by Andrew Schwartz. I picked this up a long time ago. This might have been actually one of the first books of the 6 months ago. Being a bastard blows. Tilla would know. Her father, Lord Kent of the Western Province, loved her as a child, but cast her aside as soon as he had a true-born children. At 16, Tilla spends her day exploring long-forgotten tunnels beneath the castle, with her stable hand half-brother Jax and her nights drinking with the servants, passing out on Jax's floor while her castle bedroom collects dust. Tilla secretly longs to sit by her father's side, enjoying feasts with the rest of the family. Instead, she sits with the other bastards, like Miles of House Hampstead, an awkward scholar who's been in love with Tilla since they were children. Then, at a feast, we're doing really good today, guys. At a feast honoring the visiting Princess Lyriana, the royal shocks everyone by choosing to sit at the bastard's table. Before she knows it, Tilla is leading the sheltered princess on a late-night escapade. Along with Jack, Smiles, and fellow bastard Zell, as a Tochi warrior from the north, they stumble upon a crime they were never meant to witness. A rebellion is brewing in the west, and a brutal coup leaves Lyriana's uncle and royal archmagus dead, with Lyriana next on the list. The group flees for their lives, relentlessly pursued by murderous mercenaries. Their own parents have put a price on their heads to prevent the king and his powerful royal magus from discovering their treachery. The bastards band together, realizing they alone have the power to prevent a civil war that will tear their kingdom apart, if they can warn the king in time, and if they can survive the journey. Obviously, I'm not good with names. Obviously. The next book is Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian. Again, it was covered by, but it was so cute. And I think I've heard a few things on BookTube and Book Talk about it. The next one is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This one definitely was a BookTube recommendation, or a Book Talk recommendation. I've seen it a million times. And I finally found it at Second and Charles, so I picked it up. I could never find it at Barnes & Noble's, and then after I bought it at Second and Charles, I saw it at Barnes & Noble's. I was like, really? Like, what are the odds? The next one is The Edge of Everything by Jeff Giles, and this one was a cover by. This is, again, up there with that Royal Bastards. This is one that has been on my TBR cart for a while. I really do need to read it. In fact, it sat in this thing until I took it out of that to put it on the TBR cart so that I would read it, and now it still is just on the TBR cart. So January, right? That's what we're deciding. All these books that I keep telling you I haven't read yet are going in January. Y'all have to hold me to it. All right. Luck of the Titanic by Stacey Lee. This one I picked up at Mr. K's again. I thought this one actually was a Target buy, but it was Mr. K's. Again, I saw this one on Book Talk. I think it was a Book Talk recommendation. And I was like, oh my goodness, it sounded so good when she read the description of it. And I had it in my TBR for last month. And then I kind of went through a little bit of a reading slump in the middle of October. It was my birthday and start of hockey. And I just didn't have as much time as I normally do to sit down and read. And I was working a lot of extra hours. So I took it out for this month. And I will probably put this back in January, along with all those other books. January is going to be a busy month for us. Then I have Six of Crows by Leah Bardugo. I said I was not going to read Six of Crows because it just did not seem like it was going to interest me. And then I found this one at Mr. K's, and it had this black sprayed edges, and it was just so pretty. And I was like, well, okay, I'll read it. I'll read it. I mean, and then the last one is An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. Also another book talk, booktube recommendation. It actually has probably been on my TBR card a little longer than I would like to admit. I always pick from the second shelf, and I forget that I have a third shelf, and I need to start going from the third shelf. I keep forgetting that I put things on the other side. I only ever see my Julia Quinn Bridgerton books on the one side closest to me, and so I think I just kind of forget that I put books on the other side now, and that I need to start reaching over there to pick out a book. So we are now officially all caught up with all the books on my TBR cart and all the books that I have purchased at least in the last 6 months, besides the ones that I've already read or the ones that are in my November TBR that you guys already know about. But a little half update, I have finished one book, DNF'd another book, and I'm probably 3/4 of the way through the third book. So we're probably not going to get them all read in November, but the little boy, it's just like, it's been like a little bit of a, I don't want to say a reading slump, but I think DNFing that second book kind of put me in a bit of a funk, and I have a hard time bringing myself out of a funk when I get to a point where I just cannot finish a book. So maybe it was a bit of a reading slump, but I am into this next one. It's Jane in Love by Rachel Givney. It was the book that I could not remember the name of that was in my book bag, ready for work. It's so cute. It's about Jane Austen, so you know I'm happy with that one. But I'm excited to get into the other three, so I'm hoping to plow through this one this weekend. I don't have many plans. I was kind of thinking of maybe going to Second and Charles tomorrow in Columbia. We'll see. But you guys won't see this until Sunday anyway, and that would be, I would go on Saturday. But maybe I'll be filming a Second and Charles book tour tomorrow. Maybe, fingers crossed, if I decide to head up there. If not, I'll probably still will go to Mr. K's, so I'll film that too. But you won't see that one until Wednesday, and then I'll post again. Yes, I don't know if we've caught on here, but my brain is here, my mouth maybe not be. I am going to aim for a Wednesday, Sunday upload schedule. Wednesdays more likely in the evenings, because I usually work Wednesdays, and Sundays I'm gonna go for in the evenings, maybe like between 4 and 6. That'll be my game plan. But if they go up earlier, they go up, you know how it is. Sometimes Sundays just, I'm like, oh, it's late, and it's 11 o'clock in the morning. So I just, my brain. All right, well, it was so nice seeing you guys, and please like, comment, subscribe. I would love to hear your thoughts on some of these books that I've got, what I should read. If you if any of these are your favorites, then please tell me, and I will put them top of the TBR ready to go list. If there are any books that you're like, Kayla, this sounds like you would love it, comment, let me know. I would love to pick up a few more books. I already have probably like 18 that I still need to purchase that would go in this TBR list that I just haven't gotten to yet or haven't found yet. So all right, well, it's been real, and I feel like this exit is really weird, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go. Bye.